The day the HOA fined me for fishing with my grieving daughter was the day everything changed. They thought a $500 fine would shut me up. Instead, it lit a fire. Within weeks, I wasn't just their neighbor. I was the man who owned their precious lake. Until a few months ago, my life looked picture-perfect from the outside. I was 42 years old, retired early after selling my stakes in several tech startups. I had money, a comfortable home, and every reason to relax. But money doesn't protect you from tragedy. My wife, Rachel, passed away after a brutal fight with cancer. Watching her fade away broke something inside me. The hardest part wasn't my own grief. It was seeing our 14-year-old daughter, Celine, carry a sadness too heavy for someone her age. She stopped laughing, stopped talking much, and retreated into silence. The only thing that gave her comfort was fishing. It had been our family ritual. Rachel loved the quiet mornings by the water, casting lines, waiting, joking when nothing bit. Even in her final weeks, when she was too weak to stand, she asked us to take her to the dock just to breathe in that peace. After she passed, fishing was all Celine wanted to do. I decided we needed a fresh start. I found a home in Lakeside Estates, a quiet, upscale neighborhood built around a 6-acre lake. On paper, it was perfect. Good schools, nice houses, and a lake where we could fish and heal together. The realtor mentioned there was an HOA but brushed it off as the usual stuff. Lawn maintenance, paint colors, nothing major. I should have read between the lines when she added, almost hesitantly, "The HOA president is very dedicated to maintaining property value." Still, I thought, how bad could it be? I'd faced cutthroat venture capitalists, hostile boardrooms, and billion-dollar egos. I wasn't worried about one neighborhood bureaucrat. I was wrong. Very wrong. One Saturday morning, Celine and I walked down to the community dock. For the first time in weeks, she smiled. She caught a small bluegill and carefully released it, whispering, "For Mom." My chest tightened, but in a good way it was healing. Then came her. "Excuse me." A sharp voice sliced through the quiet. A woman in her late 50s, dressed in designer athleisure and carrying a tablet, stormed toward us. Her hair was styled in the universal, "I want to speak to the manager" cut. "What exactly do you think you're doing?" she demanded. "Good morning," I said, forcing calm. "Just fishing with my daughter. We're new here." She ignored my outstretched hand. "Fishing is explicitly prohibited. This is a violation of HOA regulations. The fine is $500. I'm Karen Wellington, HOA president." She said it like she was announcing royalty. I blinked. There must be some mistake. Our realtor told us fishing was allowed. It was a selling point. Karen smirked. The regulation was amended last month. All residents were notified. Ignorance isn't an excuse. Celine froze, her smile vanishing. "Why can't we fish? We're not hurting anyone," she whispered. Karen gave her a look of pure disdain. "Hooks injure wildlife. And frankly, residents don't want bait smells ruining their morning coffee views. This isn't a public fishing hole. This community maintains standards." I clenched my jaw. It wasn't about rules. It was about control. Celine's eyes watered. "Dad, can we just go?" I put my arm around her. "We'll pack up. Please email me the regulations." Karen smiled like she'd won. "Excellent. Do check your emails more carefully in the future." We walked home in silence. My daughter finally asked, "Why was she so mean?" We weren't doing anything wrong. I didn't have the heart to tell her the truth yet. But I knew one thing. This wasn't over. That evening, I dug into the HOA documents. Buried deep in the fine print, I found something interesting. The lake was technically common property, belonging to all residents, not the HOA. Karen didn't own it. She just controlled access through her board. The next day, I met an older neighbor, Merrick, walking his dog. When I mentioned Karen, his smile vanished. "She's been running this place like a dictator for years. Most people just pay her fines and stay quiet." He invited me for coffee. At his house, filled with law books, Merrick revealed more. Karen owns a small real estate firm. Every time someone gets fed up and sells, one of her shell companies scoops up the property. She enforces rules selectively to drive people out. Later, Merrick introduced me to Samuel, a retired banker. He showed me spreadsheets proving minorities and new residents got violations 3 times more often than old families. And the kicker? Karen had been trying to secretly buy the lake. Not for the HOA, for herself. She wasn't protecting the community. She was building an empire, one forced sale at a time. And I had just become her latest target. Digging deeper, Merrick found that the HOA only leased lake rights from the original developers. That lease was expiring in 2 months. Whoever bought the lake next would decide its fate. Karen was negotiating to buy it. But Samuel discovered her finances were fragile. She was over-leveraged, drowning in debt, desperate for one big win. If she failed to secure the lake, she'd collapse. For the first time, I saw a crack in her armor. I knew exactly what to do. I'd spent my career spotting distressed assets. This lake was one. With Merrick and Samuel's help, I formed a coalition of frustrated neighbors. We shared stories, documented harassment, and built a resistance group in secret. Meanwhile, I reached out to the developer. For $350,000 cash, I could buy the lake outright. They were desperate enough to listen. We decided to wait. Let Karen announce her grand vision first. Let her overextend. Then we'd pull the rug out from under her. Karen must have sensed resistance. Suddenly, violation notices flooded my mailbox. Wrong mailbox color, weeds, even Celine's bike left in the driveway for 10 minutes. My daughter came home crying. The kids say we don't belong here. That cut deeper than any fine. For a moment, I considered selling. But then I remembered Karen's smug smile. No, I wasn't leaving. I signed the papers. The lake was mine. Meanwhile, Karen unveiled her vision. Reducing water space, building luxury homes, banning fishing forever. The crowd clapped politely. She looked unstoppable. But only I knew, her crown jewel was already gone. At her lakeside party, I walked to the microphone. Good afternoon. I hope you're enjoying this beautiful lake. But there's been some confusion. You're all trespassing. 3 days ago, I purchased this lake and surrounding property. Effective immediately, your access is terminated. Gasps, murmurs. Karen's face turned white. You can't do this, she screamed. Oh, but I can, I said, holding up the deed. Karen, you always preached about following rules. Now it's my turn. The neighborhood turned against her overnight. Residents realized she'd been planning to profit personally. Board members resigned. Allies abandoned her. She tried lawsuits, intimidation, even smears. None worked. The lake was legally mine. Her empire crumbled. I transformed the lake into a conservation project and opened free fishing classes for kids, except the children of current HOA leaders, until their parents resigned. Celine laughed again. She told me, Mom would have loved this. And she was right. The lesson? Bullies thrive when no one fights back. But when you push back smart and hard, you win.